Hello, it's the 23rd of August. Welcome to my channel, Tarot Tales. That's just fallen out. Tarot Tales by me, Caroline. Haven't been able to do a video, I'm sorry, because of my cat. I'll tell you all about that in my pet video coming up. Wheel of Fortune, interesting. That's a change. The wheel is going to turn. This is my video, UK, flags and immigration. Now, it's interesting because I looked at the Daily Mail today. Oh, this is all going to come to the surface. And this is all about the borders, the crossings, the boats crossing. Look, this is like an attempt of the crabfish. Is it crabfish? Lobster, sorry, coming out of the water. That's like the boat. You know how the boats go across the channel? And they surface into the unknown. But all this, the whole thing is going to be illuminated. Okay, so this is going to bring about a change, I think, in the future. So and they're both major cards. So obviously, can you talk about immigration? Can't you talk about immigration? Well, the truth is the papers are heavily. This morning I just happened to look in the Daily Mail and there was a massive article about Germany. What's gone on with Germany in 2015. That's when the immigration started and they allowed 1 million people to come across Europe and maybe I'm not sure it was just Germany, but 1 million people, refugees, immigrants. Anyway, now Germany apparently have started to turn their backs on this and sending people back. This is exactly what was in the newspaper this morning, so I don't see any reason why I can't do this video. However, what it actually said, was a lot of people are now coming from Germany to Britain. They feel they're not welcome in Germany as well, so a lot of them are now coming to the UK. It feels like everybody's coming to the UK. As an effect of that, there were so many videos. I just see them on YouTube coming up on the side about, immigrants in London working. They've got their bikes and their Ubers in the hotels, but so some of them are working and journalists have spotted them. And there's all sorts of stories, but then there's other stories that they want them out the hotels, but then they want them in the private sector. The whole thing is a giant mess, okay? Now, I'm not going to have an opinion on it, but the only opinion I have is it's a giant mess. Not just for the UK, for the world. The world is in one big mess. I guess that's what that card's trying to tell me. This is all going to come to the surface. And I think, so this is not my opinion, this is what I've seen, because my friends send it to me as well. People are now painting British flags on roundabouts and they're hanging them off of motorway bridges. So it's a really hot topic of immigration, and I would say it's kind of getting worse. It's heating up more and more and more, and the government just seems to just go whatever. Don't seem to really solve any problems. I thought when they were closing the hotels that was the end of the story, but no, they just moved the problem to another place. I'm not calling the immigrants a problem. Don't take my words out of context. What I'm saying is they don't fix the solution. Maybe they can't find a solution. Anyway, I would like to find a solution in my cards. This could also be linked to gesara. You can't have gesara until the countries all change and they go back to how they were as much as you can. So the rules of gesara were that they would give you money to go back to the country you were born in. Allegedly, I'll say. But and also peace talks. So could that be that these two topics are heating up because they need to happen? They may never call it gesara, but I know there's prosperity. I've seen it in my cards. But I think these things are linked. But how long is this story going to go on for? So, the UK immigration story. I want to look at where it's come from. Why was it set up like that? Why did they open mass borders? Where's it going? Now, it may be difficult to get a whole story on with just a few cards, But I just want a small overview to see the past and the future, especially in the UK. And why are we, like, what I will say one thing I've never understood. I thought if you're a refugee, you had to go to the first safe country. But it seems to be that everybody finally ends up here. That's all I wanted to say on that. Now, let's do these ones. I just don't understand it. That's the truth of it. I don't understand it all. I just feel like it's a mess. Why can't they sort it out? Why can't they do something? Like, money, power. I don't know. I guess they don't have the answers themselves. Okay, so there was a change in the past. So the change could be there's a change coming in the future because I've already had that. But this could be there was a turning point at some point. I don't know. I get the feeling they wanted countries to be different. I feel like it was a wanted decision with this card. It was a very much wanted decision. They wanted to change everything. It was a turning point as well to start this. So this is something they thought is like light bulb moment. We want this. This is a good thing. This could be hermit without your knowledge. Okay, it could all that you didn't really realise what was going on because they decided upon a change. They're two major cards. It could also be that they decided to start this vision quest because this hermit has no fixed abode and looking for a new fixed abode and is on a quest, which is kind of what happened with immigration. Everybody started looking for a new home in a way. So you can sort of see how it's gone. I don't see any sort of agenda cards, but then I've got so few cards, it's kind of hard to know that if there wasn't an agenda behind that. But I definitely think this is something they wanted. I think they felt it was a good thing. Anyway, okay. It's very interesting because I actually have for the situation. You see, I do think it will start with it and it will probably end with this situation because it has to. The reason I say that is the whole situation of this is all major arcanas, which means it's a big spiritual story. It's very significant. Now, the Temperance, very, very interesting. It's about renewal. And you can see this peaceful journey back into the mountains where the sun's shining. Is it that peace talks could resolve this as well? And this is about divine timing, peacefulness, time stands still, and renewal and healing. Is it that everything heals because everything changes? And, this could be new lands, new prosperity. It's a nice card because it brings peace, harmony, healing, but it also is about divine timing. So it's renewal, but when, the divine timing. Interesting. That's upside down. Okay, turn that around. I don't think it was meant to be like that. Okay. This is without knowledge. This card is a situation that's kind of stuck. It's intellectually stuck. So this situation does feel stuck. It's like as if they're just stuck. And maybe that's why they can't make a decision. They don't know what to do because now this situation feels like it's literally in limbo. She's like in limbo. She's kind of ring-fenced as well. Yeah. It feels like the situation evolved or it will evolve. I think it will evolve. Or the adventure, because it's like a vision quest, a new adventure, new lands, enthusiasm, and then everything's become a bit stuck. I feel like it didn't really work out. It hasn't really worked out in a way. Maybe they hoped, or I don't know what their plans were, but anyway. Was there agenda behind it? Wow, interesting. Now, I was initially going to say this is about the past, but I actually think this is about the future. Now, these two cards could imply major card of movement and travel, okay? But I also wonder, because obviously we know everyone's moved and everyone's been displaced, but I'm wondering if that's more of there'll be a surprising turn of events where people then move. Because I just wonder, I only had one card for the future. Oh yes, look, there's going to be negotiations. There's going to be agreements to go back to your past. This is your past, your childhood, where you used to live. That's your childhood. That's negotiating in a kind way. So if there was a turnaround because of Nasara Gesara, they're going to do it in the kindest possible way. This is agreeing and this is strength. So strength is a nice card. So it's about kindness and compassion. If you've gone through hardship, you'll be sort of looked after. So I strongly believe with these three cards, if there's a change, it will be a change for the better, and it will suit everybody. No one's going to, because remember, Nasara Gesara isn't about, oh, I live better than you and you're going to be poor. I believe everything has to be in harmony. The only thing that worries me is this could take a while. Unless there's a major EBS and then they declare everything and then there's a big, huge life change at that moment. Right, immigration. Especially in the UK, but this can be for all of your countries. There you go. I've had quite a few cards fall out. Oh, look at that. Pause on it. New beginning. At some point, there will be a new beginning. And maybe that's why they're heating it up, and then maybe, it then can change. Perseverance. With its brown earth tone colour, groundedness and stability. Hang on a minute. It's an excellent crystal for people who start projects but have a hard time finishing them. Yeah, maybe it doesn't get finished. They try to persevere with it, but it's all fallen apart. Communication. There should be some communication about this, or it will keep going. Speaking your truth. And if you have difficulty expressing yourself, because no one's allowed to express themselves, due to fear or self-doubt. Public speakers. Interesting. Well, no one has a public voice anymore. Okay, that was very interesting. Sacred space. Now, this could align with temperance, renewal, new beginnings, sort of time out. There could be a period of where nothing happens and we all stand still and there's a change. I know I say this all the time, and sometimes it is difficult even for me, because you think, wow, how wonderful, and then nothing seems to change. It seems to be a very slow journey, all of this. I see the point, but it's very slow. I'm trying to read it. Sacred space. Interesting. Healing sanctuary of peace. I told you it would be peaceful and calm. It will change. Wow. Relationships. The relationships between the countries, I think, and it will change. Wow. Let's look at this card. Blockages. Gets to the root of the emotional wounds and scars. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that reading, actually. So maybe we have to persevere as well at the same time. At the end of the day, this card's going to take a while. It will be fantastic when it happens, because there'll be peace and harmony for everyone. But, how long that takes, I have no idea. So I enjoyed that reading. I'm just going to put a couple more, but I'm very uncomfortable. Immigration, UK, especially the future. Oh, right, I'm going to go with all three. Lucky, you've got 3 cards today. 3 more. got centering, which makes a lot of sense. I've had that quite a lot before. Live in the moment, loosen up and allow it to happen naturally. Brilliant. Abundance, there's good news coming. All your needs are being met. Alignment, so things are in alignment. So everything they're doing, even though we think it's painfully slow, they know what they're doing. They're lining up all their ducks in a row. So this is all meant to happen this way as well. There'll be good news in the end. No limitations. Be well, be happy. They're so nice. Right. Last two. One of these, hopefully. Immigration, the future, UK. You're just going to have to sit back in your deck chair. Well, you won't have a deck chair soon. It's going to get cold. Breathe. This is where it's building. It's building up to this. It's going to be a crescendo, and maybe there'll be an EBS, and everything will grind to a halt. Maybe then people can then point. Maybe the purpose of this is because then everyone can points back at who started this. Where did this come from? However, it wasn't Labour. It started before Labour. I will say that Tarot by Jenny, I think it was Tarot by Jenny, she did a reading. I happened to watch it, and she got the World card for Keir Starmer. So that's a completion and an ending in a way. You know, maybe he doesn't even get to complete his 4 years. Freedom. I was asking about immigration. And I have power. So I do think that it started because of power, but I think it ends in freedom. So those cards were very positive. I think there'll be harmony for everyone in the end. Hope you enjoyed my reading. Do like, share and subscribe. Bye now.